welcome back to Homestead Corner. Today, I'd like to talk about hurricane preparedness. So every year we go through hurricane season in this country and everywhere really. And hurricanes are definitely a huge problem. We're just getting started in the hurricane season and lots more is definitely on the way. I think it is so important to be prepared for what's coming. It happens every year and we know it's going to happen. Here in Maine, we don't have to worry a whole lot about hurricanes. When I used to live in southern Maine, we did have to deal with a little bit that came up the coast, but really, I'm up in the mountains now, so we don't deal with it all that much. But I have had to deal with it in the past, but definitely nothing like what people have to deal with down in the south. It is definitely much worse down there than anything we see up here in Maine. So I thought that right now is a good time to talk about hurricane preparedness, especially for people that have moved into areas that have hurricanes and are not really sure what to do. Now, I am definitely not an expert on this, but I think there are just some basic things that are really important that can help you. So I thought we would go over them today. I know last year I have family down in Florida, and last year one of my uncles completely lost everything. The apartment complex the roof was ripped off, the apartments were destroyed, everything was destroyed. Luckily he wasn't there, he was with a family member in a safe place, but they were without power for quite a long time. So it's really important to make sure you're prepared for these events, even if your home is not destroyed. Where you're staying, you may not have electricity and you need to be prepared for that as well. So I just have a little list that I put together that I think these things are really important. And at the end of this, definitely people that live in high hurricane areas, please add anything to the comments. It is definitely helpful for other people. And I'm sure my list is not all inclusive. So let's go ahead and get started on this. So the first thing I would do is develop an evacuation plan. Where are you going to go? Who are you going to take with you? Get everything written down. You know, when you should leave. They announce these things when they're coming, and I know they tell you when to evacuate, and sometimes they may not tell you to evacuate, but you may want to. So just making sure and really following that and making a good evacuation plan for you and your family, and also putting together some go bags. That's where those little 72-hour meal kits come in really handy. If you've got one in everybody's bag, they're easy to grab, they're lightweight, all you have to do is add water. Those things are really important in your go bag, along with some changes of clothes and things that you will need to get you through until you can get back to some sort of normalcy. The second thing would be emergency supplies. You want to make sure you have all the supplies. You want to have food, water, batteries, a charger, an emergency radio. All those things are really important to make sure you have them. Those supplies can definitely be life-saving, and even if you can live without them, they're going to help in a bad situation. The third thing I would do is check on my insurance policy. Even in apartments, a lot of people have rental insurance, and I think it's really important. Like, my uncle lost everything, and with no insurance, he had no way to recoup anything, unfortunately. So rental insurance policies can be fairly inexpensive. It is an added expense, but it can definitely save you when something happens. If your car is destroyed or all of your furniture is destroyed. I mean, it's not going to really help with those personal sentimental items or anything, but it will help get you back on your feet if your home is completely destroyed in a hurricane. And we all know those insurance companies don't want to pay, and they try to get out of everything. So just checking on those to make sure what the parameters are to make sure that you are going to be able to get paid from that, because you don't want to pay for insurance if it's not going to do anything. And I know a lot of insurance companies try to get out of it any way they can. You also want to make sure that you have the supplies for your home, whether it's sheeting and boards to cover up windows and doorways, extra tarps. If the roof is damaged, you may want to be able to cover the roof so you can still stay in your home if it is safe enough. You want to make sure you have those supplies to shore up your home. You want to make sure your home is safe so you can return to it. The next thing I would do is develop a communications plan. Who are you going to call? When are you going to call them? All of your contacts, everything, get them written down. If something happened to your cell phone, how are you going to contact people? Do you know their numbers? I don't know hardly any numbers. I have to keep them written down in notebooks because I just press the picture and it calls. So I really don't remember most numbers. I have a few that I've known my whole life and I still remember them. But all the newer, because we all have cell phones, it's so easy not to remember everybody's number. I know I was at a wedding a couple of months ago, and a person that I had talked to added their contact information to my phone. I just handed her my phone and she put everything in there. I have no idea what her number is. I just can press the button and call. So that's pretty common nowadays. We don't remember numbers. So having them written down is really important, and having a plan for communication also. Landlines, knowing that you're going to go stay at grandma's house and she has a landline is helpful, because if there's no electricity for weeks on end, you may not be able to charge your cell phone. Even if you have a generator, sometimes you don't really want to use the electricity for certain things. Charging your phone doesn't take all that much, but if your generator runs out of gas or a battery, if it's solar, it runs out, especially if it's cloudy and things like that. We want to make sure we have all of the things we need and backup ideas of how we're going to follow through in those times when those things aren't working. So this is definitely not an all-inclusive list. It's just a few things that I think are important, and I would definitely want to start here when preparing for hurricane season, but you want to make sure that you've got all your bases covered, and making sure what you're going to do with your pets. If you have pets, you can't just leave them behind. They're counting on you. And we want to make sure that we've got all our ducks in a row. When something happens, we're ready and we can handle the situation in a calm, good manner. Especially, it helps our families when we're able to stay calm and just, okay, it's time, grab your bags, we're headed here. This is what we're going to do. And that can be very helpful, very calming for your children. And when you stay calm, your pets are going to stay calmer. It's going to help everybody when you've got a plan in place. So if you guys have any other ideas that you think should be added to this list that you should do, that can help someone through hurricane season, definitely put them in the comments down below. The comment section is usually a treasure trove of great ideas. Everybody does stuff a little differently, and you can find something that's going to work for you and your family. And that is it for today. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.